This is my screencast-o-matic for my amazing authentic learning project. My big idea for this project is to improve our cafeteria experience. Basically what students are going to do in this about 17-day lesson is to create a ideal cafeteria based on what they get from a Google form that they created and distributed to different class lists. The major elements that they should include in their project are having a Google form, creating a survey looking for possible solutions. Also, they need to present a voice thread, which should include survey results with graphs and explanations, at least 2 solutions, some research on different cafeterias, some school lunches from around the world. They need at least 3 resources, and a design of a school lunchroom, which includes the Americans with Disability requirements, as well as some explanation of how they met those requirements, as well as an explanation of the furniture choices that they made. The standards that they meet, I just picked a few of them. The science standard of being able to design and conduct scientific student investigations, speaking and listening standard I picked out, having collaborative discussions, one-on-one, and then the ISTE standard number 4 would be another standard that I would look at. My authentic purpose would be when designing a new building or remodeling project or some kind of public building, builders need to make sure that they are fitting the requirements of the client as well as the legal requirements for accessibility. Part of that would be assessing the client's need as well as devising a plan to help resolve the problems or needs, as well as creating an eye-pleasing design. So using this project to kind of design a ideal cafeteria for students. This project will require students to design a new cafeteria based on suggestions found out through a survey of the student body. It'll require them to communicate effectively within their peers, as well as design an appropriate survey, as well as design a final cafeteria. This will be presented in VoiceThread and then reviewed by the peers in VoiceThread. So using that peer contact available in VoiceThread was something that I really wanted to capitalize in this project. So basically, after this, they've created this, I would like them to be able to create and distribute a Google form to collect data. This is something that is very real life. It's way easier than using SurveyMonkey, and it's also free. So also read and analyze and collect data. Create some floor planning, meeting the ADA requirements, collaborate effectively with peers. Hopefully they can do that as well already a little bit, and accept and give feedback to peer projects. And feedback is something that I personally want to work on more as a teacher, giving appropriate feedback, modeling appropriate feedback, and having my students give each other appropriate feedback, and that's something that I really want to hit on. As far as how I want the students to assess themselves, I want to have an individual self-assessment as well as a teacher will assess them. And this is what my self-assessment would kind of look like. It's kind of either a yes or a no. Did I do things correctly? Did I overall do well on my project? Kind of gives me an idea. I put some direct learning objective things right in here. Some things that I think they should be able to do on their own at the end. And then some just basic questions that I use my time wisely. Looking at the teacher rubrics, a little different. At the end of the student rubric, there's a few reflection questions. I really think reflection is an important part of learning, especially after the students view each other's presentations. I think it will be good for them to review themselves. So let me scroll down to this teacher. The teacher is a little bit more detailed as far as specific content. The specific content that was required was also outlined at the beginning of the presentation. This is something I believe I would give before they started their project, as well as that peer reflection, their self-reflection, as well as my own reflection page, kind of give them an idea of how they're going to be evaluated. If I went through how the lesson would be laid out, up here. Day 1, I would kind of introduce the project, have the students break into their own groups, brainstorm any questions to ask on a survey. You know, that's going to be a big discussion. What kind of questions would you ask if you wanted to improve your lunchroom, kind of breaking it out in some of the categories that we would want to see on a survey. What would be the most valuable questions when you're looking at that? Also, I found this really great YouTube video on how to create Google Docs. That would be what we would do day 2 for kind of an individual piece of assessment. I want the students to watch that on their own. So the students would watch this YouTube video that I found on their own, and then I would want them to create one of their own using Google Forms. And you would see all of their links to that. I would probably put these links on my wiki page. These are kind of the basic links that I would use. I have a couple resource links down here, like this universal seating. This universal seating design was something that I thought was pretty cool, because that's basically what they're doing, is designing different lunchrooms, and you can see the large variety of lunchrooms available and the different furniture available, and I think kids would be really interested in finding some new furniture for their lunchroom. My day 3 of the lesson would then continue with the Google Forms, taking a look at making more open-ended questions. This day 3 would be where the group would get together and make sure that they would have what they need for that, having 4 open-ended questions, 5 selected response, and they need to have the teacher preview it before they send it out to the different class lists. Day 4 and 5 would be to research elements when considering design of a cafeteria, as well as some ADA requirements, or American with Disabilities requirements for cafeterias. I think that's something that kids really need to look at, and really take a look at the different requirements of the law for Americans with disabilities. Day 6 and 7 would be researching school lunches around the world as well as the U.S. I think that's one of the #1 things kids complain about in lunchrooms, is the actual food. So having them look at some of the other food that is offered, maybe they could offer some, that might offer some design ideas for them as well. Day 8 would be kind of the play day on the floor planner for kind of an individual piece on that one. Their homework would be to create just a simple floor plan with some doors, windows, and at least 3 pieces of furniture. Day 9 would be the kind of the culmination of the survey results after they have at least 5 days to work on the survey. The peers do, and once that survey results come back, I also think it would be a good idea to have some class collaboration among the groups. What some of the things that you found out were most important, what's were least important, and I think that would be an important discussion day. Day 10 would be the final day where they would choose those improvements and start researching those improvements. Day 11 and 12 is actually designing the floor plan as a group. Day 13, work on your final project. I want them to build up kind of a mock-up in either Keynote or PowerPoint, and I would really like them to script it out. I find that if I don't have them script something out, I end up with garbage. I do a lot of storyboarding when I have them do iMovies, so the Keynote and the PowerPoint before having them go to VoiceThread with their scripted notes, I think would be very beneficial. Day 14 would kind of be the recording day, making sure I have some notes about utilizing some open rooms in our library entry. Day 15 and 16 would be their presentation peer feedback day. When you're doing with VoiceThread, all of the presentation can happen on the internet, so the students would look at each other's voice threads and then make the 3 pieces of feedback per group. So depending on how many groups you have, it may take a couple days. Day 17 would be the self-reflection day, where students kind of evaluate what they did. That's where we would fill out the rubrics on what they did, kind of talk about what could we do better next time. So that would be my amazing authentic learning project. If you want to take a look at the Word document for this document, I have put it in my wiki space site, my fredsspreadwiki.com/English. You can download it from the English tab right here. If you have any questions, thank you. That was kind of cool.